Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this here channel. And if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Now we've got the pleasantries out of the way, let's get to the topic at hand. Yes, I am dirty today. Behind me, my Fairmont just finished putting frame connectors on it. Videos forthcoming, don't sweat it, it's on the way. Actually, I still have a little bit more shooting to do, but it's late. I am hungry, I am tired, and all I want is food, a shower, and a bed. Very similar to probably the feelings that Jeremy Clarkson was having at the end of a long day of shooting, when apparently now it has come to light that yes, he went on like a 20 or so minute tirade and then physically assaulted the producer in question. And I'm sorry, but I can't remember his name and I probably can't pronounce it anyway. Say it like 4 different ways and apologize for that. But he had to go to the emergency room. He was hurt. And that's the saddest part about, well, it's sad that Top Gear as we know it is over. Let's just call it. I speculated about it in the last video. I hoped it wouldn't be true. Unfortunately, it turned out to be true. And now we are living in a world that no longer has the Top Gear that we know and love in its current form since 2002, as many of you have pointed out. So let's talk a little bit about Jeremy and his actions. Now, he's a celebrity. We all know that. We helped make him that celebrity. We love and watch the show. And James and Richard, also excellent contributors to it. And the three of them have a chemistry, have a way of working together on screen that just clicks. And I think that's what we all love about it. But here we are with Jeremy, who kind of, I'm gonna say it, he let us down. And I'm sure that he has a lot to deal with that, because the entire world has been watching. The entire world has been watching the whole time. And you know, we love to build celebrities up, but we love just as much to tear them down when we see their human side. And it is unfortunate that that side of him came out. I'm going to speculate that there's other things going on there. I would think a man in his mid-50s would know better. And I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. I'm not going to say that I'm above it at all, because I have said things that I regret. I've done things that I regret, just not as publicly. But I've also been able to turn the other cheek at times, you know, when things got rough. Be like Yoda. Some of you might remember that video. That said, it's just, like I say, I really feel like he let us down with that. Entertaining only goes so far. But when you're physically and verbally abusing people, that crosses the line. And the BBC felt so too. And like I said in the last video, you really can't, in that situation, be in a position of authority and allow that kind of thing to happen. If you allow that kind of thing to happen, you have no authority anymore. They had to do what they did. So personally, I don't fault the BBC for doing what they did. I think they made the right decision. I am sad by that decision. I'm sad to see the show go, but now let's talk about James and Richard. Now James, as I've said in the past video, has been what I believe to be a good friend. Now, let's face it, the three of them on camera are characters on camera. They're real people off camera. I think that their friendship to some degree extends off camera, and pure speculation, I don't know them, I can't say for sure. But in particular, I think James and Jeremy have had a relationship, a friendship outside of the show. And I think that's evident by his responses to the press, who's basically accosting him outside of his house, and him basically claiming, you know what, I know nothing. I'm not going to say anything. Yeah, the guy's a knob in his words, but I quite like him. Those were his words. And that doesn't sound to me like somebody who's just giving us show business. That sounds to me like somebody who's trying to be a good friend. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that about him. Many have speculated that James has done with television in general, that he's ready for a hiatus, ready for a break, ready to do something else. So it's quite possible. Well, now with Jeremy gone, here's the real question. Now with Jeremy gone, did the other two stay? Well, I don't think James will. Based on everything I've heard and based on what I'm seeing in this whole situation, I think he's happy to be done with it. He got hurt the most in the episodes. But as far as Richard goes, Richard's sort of a different animal. The hamster has a bit more energy, I think, than the other two. He's plucky. And he could, I think in some ways he could pull it off. But let's face it, if Richard sticks around and James and Jeremy are gone, I think the general consensus is going to be, you know, why didn't you leave? Why, you know? I'm sure the BBC will do whatever possible to try and keep him. It remains to be seen. But yes, the three of them together were special. I would be very surprised if they were able to fill those shoes. And I'm sure they're going to keep Top Gear around because, let's face it, it makes them a lot of money. But it'll be in a completely different form. So here's the thing. They've sold us Top Gear in other countries outside the UK. There is a Top Gear Germany, there's a Top Gear Australia, and there's a Top Gear US. And for those of you that are all like, well, I hate that Top Gear, the only one there is Top Gear UK. They're all affiliated with the same people. They just basically sold it out to other people. It's not like America was trying to copy the British Top Gear. No, the British Top Gear people said, hey, there's a market in America, let's localize it. Let's get 3 presenters together and let's make our show in America, Australia, Germany, wherever else it is. Those are the only ones that I know of off the top of my head. So it's not like we're stealing the show, it's basically the BBC extending its reach, so to speak, and doing the programming that way. So they couldn't use the name Top Gear if they were not affiliated with Top Gear in some way. You get me? I think you know where I'm coming from. I'm sure a lot of you are going to get down to the semantics of that, but let's not get mired down by that. My point is they've already made an attempt to sell us other Top Gears in our own, perhaps, native countries. And in almost every instance, in fact, that I can think of, there's been pushback. And in fact, there was pushback from me initially when they said there's going to be a US Top Gear. I'm like, why? Why do we need a US Top Gear? I kept asking myself that. Why do we need that? And I'm sure that other people in other countries are saying the same thing. Top Gear is great the way it is. Why do we need to have it somewhere else? Well, somebody's making money. That's why. Let's get back to the British Top Gear. British Top Gear, different presenters. I think it's the same situation. I think that they will do what they can to make the show go on. It remains to be seen whether James and Richard hang around. I don't think James will. Richard, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. He's got other things going on. So why would he without his other 2 co-presenters? That said, they get some new people in there. Well, we're all going to hate the new people. And that's just, and the people coming in, I feel sorry for them trying to come in and trying to make the show, because they kind of don't have a chance. They don't have much hope. And it's kind of sad, but it remains to be seen. But I just wanted to comment a little bit on, you know, like I said, my sadness over Jeremy. And I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video. This is like the March 26th or so. So it's really the day after it was announced that Top Gear is no more. So the wound is still fresh. We'll see. Time will go on. Jeremy will land on his feet. Trust me. He'll be fine. And there's already talk and speculation of other, like the Sky Network, even something with Netflix. There's several options for these people. It's not like they're going to be hurting. But I could see clauses in the contract about physical altercations, and maybe even clauses in the contracts about making darn sure that there's a steak dinner at the end of the day. You know, somewhere there's a compromise, but I think the people that do hire Jeremy are going to have to take that into account. And I think Jeremy probably already is. Let's face it, it's embarrassing to have to go through something like this, and so publicly. I feel bad for him. I really do. I feel for him, and it's regrettable. It's regrettable, and I'm sure he regrets it. But at the same time, it happened. It's part of the past. There's nothing we can do about it now but move forward. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Sorry if I was a bit long-winded. As I said, I'm tired. It's been a long day here, but I got to wrap things up and go get myself some kind of dinner. Probably not a steak dinner, probably cold cuts. Take myself a shower, get into bed, and start it all over again tomorrow. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching. There'll be some links in the description to other information, the latest information as we know it. So please check there. And as always, feel free to comment. There'll also be a discussion about this over at my website. Hey, If you have automotive questions, I would ask that you head over to ericthecarguy.com. Yes, please go to ericthecarguy.com with your automotive questions. If you wish to connect with me socially, however, I can be found on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and now Instagram. I close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, and stay dirty. See you next time. Bye-bye, Top Gear. It was great.